Good morning and thanks for joining us on the Friday edition of TVC Breakfast. I'm Veronica Dan-Ikpoyi. I'm not here alone. I have Superstar Omatseye here as well as Mike Okwoche. Gentlemen, good morning.
Great morning. Now we can say thank God it's Friday.
Exactly. Right.
That's right. Thank God it's another day.
Exactly.
That's it.
There'll always be a twist to it.
That's it.
Thank God it's another day.
Yes, but I don't think, as much as we are thanking God it's another day, I don't think some lecturers are happy with the recent developments with regards to the fact that the federal government paid half salaries for some lecturers under the ASUU umbrella, and then for the medical lecturers, they got their backlog paid in full, and this is already generating a lot of reactions with regards to that. For instance, the Gombe chapter of ASUU has said that they are going to withdraw or withhold some results of the students, and then for those who are doing their projects, that they would not supervise the projects of some of the students. That's in terms of the postgraduate students. And then there's also the aspect of lecturers, some lecturers saying that they are blaming the National Executive Council of ASUU for calling off the strike with this development. And the ASUU is said to be calling for an emergency NEC meeting with its members to know the way forward. But there is still no response from the federal government with regards to why it decided to toe this path of paying half salaries for October and paying the backlog of the medical lecturers.
Well, I think this is a pass that we did not expect after all the rumblings of the year, after all the asphyxiation of ideas and lecturers, after all the threats and all the suspense and all the frustrations and all the reconciliation that was spearheaded by the Speaker of the House of Representatives. What they have now is also salary apartheid, where you paid one and you decided not to pay the other. And I don't know why it's not only that they have divided them in two, they have divided ASUU salary in two. Why would they do that? Why would you not just abide by an agreement? They used to say, I was in the village headmaster in those days, say, a bargain is a bargain. A bargain is a bargain. I mean, I agree. There must be an integrity to governance. This is not integrity at all.
Right.
This is corruption. We want to put it clear. They have to really abide by their agreement. I mean, they can't make the speaker put all his energy and all of that, bringing them together, and then the government is reneging. That's not. I mean, paying the half salary. There was one state governor was paying half salary one time. They used to call it AFSA, you know. This is mockery. I mean, they have to decide what they want to do, and the pressure should be on the government to pay these people. It's unfair.
It's not.
Well, the issue there is, an average Nigerian would ask, when there was a meeting and say, okay, we'll call off the strike, we'll suspend the strike now, what were the agreements that were on the table at the time?
Especially with regards to the payment of the backlog.
Recall the Speaker of the House of Reps told us that every other thing has been resolved, but the two things that needed to be, checked at that time was the no work, no pay, and then the IPPIS UTAS issue, but that they will be resolved. And then on the day they went to a closed-door meeting for quite a long while, and they came out and said that, well, in the next few days, we hope the strike will be suspended. And it did. So we assume that all of those would have been agreed upon as to what will be paid and at what time and how much, and things like that. So when we're coming and we're hearing this now, we want to assume, all Nigerians who are watching want to assume that maybe this is part of the agreement to say, okay, pay in tranches, maybe pay some. Maybe in the coming weeks or whatever.
I don't think it is, because lecturers are angry. Some lecturers are angry.
Yes.
And they want to call for an emergency NEC meeting. So if it is part of it, then they would not react that way.
Some lecturers are angry. We didn't hear that the president of ASUU or the executive committee of ASUU is angry.
He has to be angry.
No, he has to be, but we don't know yet.
We don't know yet, but that's why they want to call for an emergency meeting.
Until they come out with the statement in that regard. Because that's why I said Nigerians will assume that these things were agreed upon at the final meeting that they had with the Speaker of the House of Reps.
Well, the lecturers are already angry on behalf of the executive. And they're showing it. so let us see whether the anger. You see, there's this revolutionary during the time of the time of Russian Revolution. He said, if the society does not change from the top to the bottom, it will change from the bottom to the top. Exactly. So that's what they're saying. If they're not angry at the executive, you know, when the explosion happens from in the sea. If the sea all looks calm at the top, you hear boom.
Boom, exactly.
Yes,
exactly.
yes. And
we just hope he doesn't get there anyway.
That's it. We just hope he doesn't get there because when they call the emergency NEC meeting, there's no date yet, but we hope to see what the direction would be because there are those who are apprehensive already that they may call for a strike.
I think what government has to do is, generally do is, you see, let it be part of that final meeting to say, you know what, this backlog of everything, we're going to clear it. But going forward, from now, going forward, if you guys do this or do that, we will not, because actually in the books, in the regulation, if you strike, you cannot get paid for the period of time.
Right.
That is what the law... But the issue there is, for the sake of, you know, let us all come to reconciliation and all of that, let us clear... But going forward, so that everybody agrees to these things. You sign it, I sign it, and then all my part of the signing I did, I am, you know, I fulfill the part of the sign, and then let all of us start from afresh.
Because they have to create integrity within
exactly. There has to be.
If there's no integrity in government, if there's integrity in ASUU, the one integrity will beat the other integrity. Because one will fall against the other. Because, well, there's this French revolutionary, Abbé Sieyès, who said, power from above, confidence from below. But if there's no confidence from below, the power from above will crack.
Exactly.
Right. Let's hope that there is some level of resolution as we move ahead.